If you're one of the 3 people who are keeping up with Mortal Kombat 1, you'll know the game is pretty much dead. If you take a gander at Steam charts, you'll see quite a steep decline from its release. In fact, Mortal Kombat 11 is currently beating it out in amount of people playing, and that game is 5 years old, while Mortal Kombat 1 is only 6 months old, and Mortal Kombat 11 didn't even have great rave reviews from fans. On release, Mortal Kombat 1 had next to nothing in terms of single-player content. It had the campaign that could be beaten on your day off, and Invasions, which sucks ass in its own special way. No actual Krypt, no daily ladders, no cool special game modes, absolutely insane microtransactions, $10 for a fatality or for a costume? Are you dead serious? Not to mention the game released for $70. $70! That is absolute robbery for what you get. 12 years before this absolute shit show and poor excuse for a full Mortal Kombat game, we got a far better one, Mortal Kombat, or as everybody else calls it, Mortal Kombat 9, the original series reboot. This game at launch came with much more to do and much more fun to be had. You get the story mode, you get the challenge tower, which is fantastic, you get test your luck, which is a lot of fun if you like gambling as I do, you have an actual Krypt that you can grind through, you have 27 combatants, which is more than Mortal Kombat 1 had at release, and best of all, you don't have to pay any extra fucking money for a stupid ass fatality. You can get them all for free, with a lot of them coming from the Krypt, which gives you incentive to keep playing. Honestly, you would think that a game that was developed by a brand new studio after Midway shut down wouldn't go over too well and there would be some glaring issues with it, but that just isn't the case somehow. 12 years after Mortal Kombat 9 came out, we got Mortal Kombat 1, a game that should have been easy to make. It baffles me how Warner Brothers doesn't know what the Mortal Kombat community wants, and I can tell you for certain what we want is content for the $70 we paid. For the base version of Mortal Kombat for the PlayStation 3, I paid $9.99 at my local retro video game store. That is a price that you can find virtually any retro game store, even some GameStops. If you have a PlayStation Vita, then you can get Mortal Kombat 9 with Kratos and an extra challenge tower for around $25 to $30. And if you have a PC, you can get the complete edition for about $25 on G2A, and that's the version that I played for the majority of this video, except when I played as Kratos. You can spend a seventh of the money on a far superior game. Anyways, enough talking about Mortal Kombat 1. When I get to that video, you'll hear all about what I think about it. For now, let's just talk about Mortal Kombat 9. Spoiler alert, it's a fantastic game. How the video is structured. If you've seen my previous Mortal Kombat videos, you'll kind of already know how this video is going to be structured, but for those of you who are new, by the way, maybe you should subscribe. I'm going to start by talking about the story, and I'm going to go chapter by chapter, giving a shortened breakdown of the story, and then whatever character I played as in that chapter, I'm going to play the ladder of, and I'm going to give you the bio. After that, I'm going to essentially review that character, their design, their moves, just general thoughts about that particular character, and I'm going to do that for every single story chapter. And then, once I'm done with the story, I'm going to talk about how I feel about it, and then I'm going to talk about the characters that aren't given their own respective chapter. At the end, I'm going to talk about different aspects of the game, such as fighting, the maps, and then give my overall rating of the game. Without further ado, I hope you enjoy this video, and let's get started with the story. Chapter 1. Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage thinks he's hot shit, and he doesn't even realize that he's in the Mortal Kombat tournament. He fights Baraka and Shao Kahn tells him to kill Baraka, but he doesn't want to kill anybody. He tries to get with Sonya and she rejects his advances, but once he defeats Kano to save her, she wants him again. Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage is a longtime celebrity martial artist and actor. He is actually descendant of a fucking cult. He doesn't know it, but it'll help him fight Outworld. Johnny Cage feels very good in this game, but that's probably the new engine. He keeps a lot of the same moves as previous games, but here they just click a lot better. His design is really great, whether it be the purple suit or him shirtless with the Johnny tattoo, because of course he would be the guy to get his own name tattooed across his chest.
As the last remnants of Shao Kahn disintegrated, Johnny felt strange, as if he had lost control of his body. Suddenly, powerful energy burst forth, destroying everything around him. Johnny sought the aid of Raiden and Nightwolf, but their efforts did nothing to stop these random spasms of destruction. Desperate, Raiden transported Johnny to Sado, the realm of order, where he could be taught to control his power. Johnny Cage will transform into a warrior powerful beyond mortal imagining.
Chapter 2. Sonya. Sonya goes looking for Jax and stumbles upon him locked in a cage. Shang Tsung shows up and forces her to fight Sub-Zero. Raiden shows up and has a flashback that Liu Kang defeats Shang Tsung, so Sonya and Raiden fight. Raiden helps her by blinding Shang Tsung and Sonya breaks Jax out. Sonya is trying to evacuate them out, but Kitana and Jade show up to stop them. After defeating them, Sonya asks how Jax is. A helicopter shows up, then gets shot down by Shang Tsung. Kano and Sonya fight. She tries to take him into custody, but Shang Tsung doesn't let her do that. Raiden and Johnny Cage show up, and Raiden heals Jax right up. Raiden reveals that he's seen visions of Armageddon, and he needs their help. Sonya. She loved her military dad and he died while deployed. To honor him, she joined the Marines. She gets caught up in the Mortal Kombat tournament and thinks that she might die. Sonya's design just doesn't make sense. Come on, what the fuck kind of Special Forces operative thinks this is the best outfit to get work done? She plays really good though, better than in other Mortal Kombat games in my opinion.
The loss of friends and allies during the battle with Shao Kahn took its toll on Sonya Blade's sanity. She left the Special Forces and went into seclusion to cope with her grief. But her solitude was brief, as she found herself regularly visited by an apparition who claimed to be her missing father. With her father as a guide, Sonya embarked on a mission to exterminate what remained of Shao Kahn's army.
Chapter 3, Scorpion. Scorpion shows up where Kung Lao comes to fight him. Liu Kang is concerned for Kung Lao because he got his ass kicked. Scorpion demands Sub-Zero, but Shang Tsung calls Nightwolf in. After defeating him, he still wants to fight Sub-Zero, but Shang Tsung isn't allowing it. Raiden warns him to not kill Sub-Zero, and Scorpion doesn't listen. Raiden cuts him a deal that if he doesn't kill Sub-Zero, he'll revive Scorpion's clan. Scorpion fights Sektor and Cyrax together, then Sub-Zero pops up and Scorpion takes him to hell. Scorpion feels avenged enough without fully killing him, but Quan-Chi tells him to kill Sub-Zero, and then it shows a flashback of when Scorpion's clan and family were getting killed by the Lin Kuei. Sub-Zero claims it wasn't him, and Scorpion takes off his mask to reveal his flaming skull. It cuts to him coming into a room where everyone is hanging out, and he shows off Sub-Zero's skull with the spine attached and drops it to the floor. Cyrax is mad about the Lin Kuei making them into robots, and Raiden is mad at Cyrax for betraying his own realm. Scorpion. He was a Shirai Ryu warrior, but Sub-Zero and his clan demolished them. Scorpion's existence was horrible. He was resurrected by Quan-Chi and joined the Mortal Kombat tournament to kill Sub-Zero. Scorpion feels great, as he always does, but something that's weird is that his combos are a little bit different when it comes to the button combinations to activate them, which is just strange considering this game is 20 years after the original, and it's been pretty consistent the whole time. His design is great though. Iconic as always, it's just a little bit modernized for 2011.
Shao Kahn's death did nothing to relieve Scorpion's pain. The loss of his kin still weighed heavily upon him. For reasons he could neither explain nor understand, he was drawn to the home of the Shirai Ryu. Standing amid the rubble in solemn contemplation, Scorpion was visited by apparitions of his fallen comrades, who revealed the true mastermind behind their brutal deaths. Enraged, he returned to the Netherrealm. As the spirits of his kin immobilized Quan-Chi, Scorpion slew him, finally avenging their deaths.
Chapter 4, Cyrax. Cyrax is looking for Johnny Cage and Sheeva, and Baraka shows up letting them know that the agreement between him and Outworld is over, so you fight them, and then you go to Johnny Cage and defeat him. You're told to kill him, but you don't. Sektor is mad he didn't kill them, so you fight. Cyrax. He's a great fighter and served the Lin Kuei, but when they do the cyborg bullshit, he's not a fan. He wants to leave, but he knows that if he leaves, he'll be killed. I love Cyrax's human design as well as his robotic one in this game. He just looks fantastic, and oh man, he's very fun to play. I genuinely really like him quite a lot in this game, and I'm glad that he's in it.
Though he had pledged his life to the Lin Kuei, Cyrax left the clan to help the Earthrealm heroes turn back Shao Kahn's invasion. For this act of desertion, he was marked for termination by the new Grand Master, Sektor. Surrounded and severely outnumbered, Cyrax prepared to meet his fate when Raiden came to his aid. With him were 100 Shaolin monks. The Lin Kuei were defeated, though Sektor was not counted among the dead. Cyrax was offered sanctuary at the Wuxi Academy, where he has begun a new life as an honorable warrior for peace.
Chapter 5, Liu Kang. This chapter starts off with Shang Tsung showing off Ermac, and you have to fight him. Kitana is surprised that Liu Kang is really good at fighting. Raiden believes that Liu Kang must win to prevent Armageddon. Kitana then shows up to fight. Liu Kang is in love with Kitana, so he spares her life. His next tournament opponent is Scorpion and Quan-Chi. After that, I have to fight my favorite guy ever, fucking Goro. After coming back up, Shang Tsung is pissed and you fight him. Liu Kang has saved Earthrealm. However, Raiden notices his amulet has cracked even more. Shao Kahn is pissed that Shang Tsung lost. They are about to kill Shang Tsung, and then he saves himself by saying they can change the rules. Back in Earthrealm, Liu Kang gets an amulet saying he's a cool guy. Liu Kang. He was an orphan and taken in by the Shaolin monks. They saw he was a good fighter, and Raiden and Bo Raicho helped him to become a fantastic warrior. He joins the Mortal Kombat tournament and goes to Shang Tsung's island to compete. Liu Kang feels much better in this game than previous ones. I've criticized him in the past for being too default, which still rings true here, but he really feels so good it's not much of a problem. His design is the same thing it's been in every other game, so nothing new to say there.
Having defeated Shao Kahn, Liu Kang believed he was the only one capable of defending Earthrealm against outside threats. During the invasion, Raiden had been more burden than ally. Brazenly, he demanded the Elder Gods grant him the Thunder God status. In a one-match Mortal Kombat tournament, Liu Kang defeated his former friend and mentor. Liu Kang's request was granted. He was made a god, the new protector of Earthrealm.
Chapter 6, Jax. You fight Baraka and then you need to get Sonya, so you ask Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn to help. Johnny Cage talks about how much he wants Sonya and it pisses off Jax, so they fight. Jade shows up telling them to leave. They don't listen, but then Raiden decides it's time to go, so they leave. They find Sonya at the acid pit and Sheeva and Jax fight. He frees Sonya. Raiden says they gotta find some signals. Jax. He's a Special Forces member and is trying to catch the Black Dragon. They find Kano on an island and are forced into the Mortal Kombat tournament. Jax has a fantastic design in this game, but I'm not a huge fan of his moves, unfortunately. None of them really feel super great or powerful, so he's just alright to me and nothing more.
After the invasion was thwarted, many of Jax's allies had seemingly disappeared, leaving him to clean up the mess on his own. He searched for Shao Kahn's remaining forces, utilizing a new cyber scanner designed to remotely access worldwide databases. Navigating its virtual reality interface, Jax inadvertently accessed Kano's brain through his optical laser implant. Their minds linked, Jax virtually battled Kano. Finally, he captured and quarantined Kano's consciousness within the Special Forces mainframe. The dangerous criminal had finally been neutralized.
Chapter 7, Smoke. You fight Kitana, then fight Kano, then Sub-Zero. Sektor is a cyborg and Smoke is surprised he really did it. Then Smoke gets kidnapped by a whole bunch of Lin Kuei. Raiden needs to save Smoke from turning into a cyborg to stop Armageddon. They go to save Sub-Zero. Smoke. He's from Prague and the Lin Kuei notice him. He has a power to turn into smoke. He doesn't remember his childhood, so the Lin Kuei is his family. A lot of people in my stream chat weren't a big fan of Smoke's design, but personally I love it. I think it looks really unique and cool, and I'm glad they changed it up so he doesn't blend in like he used to. His teleport punch is super satisfying, and his smoke move that teleports the enemy is nice too. I really like Smoke in this game.
Shao Kahn's violent death shook the very core of Smoke's being and dislodged his earliest memories. Tomas Rabada was only a boy when he was abducted by an obscure cult and sacrificed to a demon. Burned alive, he returned to the mortal realm as an Anenra, a creature of smoke and vapor. His captors were helpless against his shapeless form as he lashed out with rage, killing them all. His murder avenged, he returned to his human form, remembering nothing of his former life. Now aware of his true identity, Smoke understands he is no mere assassin. His destiny has been revealed.
Chapter 8, Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero is about to get kidnapped by Cyrax and he denies joining. Sonya and Jax are surprised Sub-Zero is alive, then Sub-Zero says it isn't the OG Sub-Zero, it's his brother, then Ermac shows up and absolutely obliterates Jax's arms. It cuts to Kitana and Shao Kahn chillin'. Sub-Zero demands Scorpion and Shang Tsung doesn't approve, so he gets Reptile instead. Shao Kahn lets him face Scorpion now. I had a really hard time getting him, but I did. Then Lin Kuei cyborgs show up to convert Sub-Zero. Smoke is really sad about it. Sub-Zero. Him and his older brother were abducted by the Lin Kuei as kids because of their power. His codename is Tundra, but he acts as Sub-Zero because the real one died. He is trying to hunt the person that killed his brother. Sub-Zero plays basically the same as he always has, and his design is also pretty similar, but modernized, and it looks nice. He's fun in this game, as he always is for the most part.
After the victory over Shao Kahn, Sub-Zero learned from Raiden the truth, that the Lin Kuei were ultimately responsible for the deaths of both Sub-Zero's and Scorpion's families. Enraged, Sub-Zero offered Scorpion a chance to share in his quest for vengeance. With the might of fire and ice combined, they were a storm of vengeful fury as they cut down their foes. Once justice had been done, Sub-Zero and Scorpion disappeared into legend, emerging from obscurity only to avenge the innocent. The forces of darkness will never stop this deadly alliance.
Chapter 9, Kitana. Kitana is mad because Jade followed her after her dad Shao Kahn got mad at her. Smoke and Johnny Cage show up and they fight. Raiden comes up and says that Kitana is not a bad person and that Raiden could use her help. She goes into the flesh pits and Jade is mad that Kitana is going where she isn't supposed to and they fight. She finds Mileena wearing, well, basically fucking nothing. Shang Tsung created Mileena and Kitana is pissed about it, so they fight. Kitana returns to Shao Kahn pissed off about what Shang Tsung is doing, but Shao Kahn is actually pleased with Shang Tsung. Kitana. Her design is alright, but kinda weird how fucking skimpy her clothing is. Her moves are fantastic though. Her fans have always been iconic and they are fun as fuck in this game, how it usually has been in the past. Solid character.
Kitana had ended Shao Kahn's life for his betrayal. She had discovered the truth about Mileena, but rather than slay her as well, she took pity on her half-sister. She offered Mileena a home within the Edenian aristocracy. She was, after all, of royal blood. Mileena cautiously accepted her sister's invitation. With Mileena and Jade at her side, Kitana formed a fighting force dedicated to bringing justice to the realms. Never again would a warlord arise to create such terror.
Chapter 10, Jade. Jade pulls up on Baraka and he tells her to leave, but Jade doesn't listen. Sheeva is guarding Kitana and doesn't want Jade to save her, so they fight. Mileena pulls up on Jade and they fight too. Smoke is a dumbass and thinks Mileena is Kitana some fucking how, and so they fight. She lets the Earthrealmers know that Kitana was captured. Jade. She fought for Shao Kahn in Edenia and got to be Kitana's bodyguard. Her and Kitana are great friends, but Shao Kahn says that if Kitana stops being loyal, Jade has to kill her. She's a lot of fun to play with a solid design. Her staff has always been pretty fun to use, and it still feels very powerful and crisp in this game.
Shao Kahn was defeated, but the intense battle rendered Jade unconscious. She slipped into a dreamlike state and found herself walking in an unknown realm. As she explored, her surroundings shifted and changed. Jade approached a lone figure who stood in the distance, a shimmering woman. She did not reveal her name, but spoke with an air of regal authority. Through the minds of countless mortals, the woman had been watching events as they unfolded over the centuries. She informed Jade that Shao Kahn's death was an outcome that must be reimagined. Jade was defenseless as the woman possessed her body and emerged in the waking world.
Chapter 11, Kung Lao. Noob and Sheeva walk in on Kung Lao and Liu Kang and they fight. Goro shows up to fight his ass. Goro tells them Kitana might be dead in the Colosseum. It cuts to Ermac kicking Johnny Cage's ass. Liu Kang goes to free Kitana and Raiden suggests maybe Kung Lao is the winner. You fight Shang Tsung and Quan-Chi. After beating them, Kentaro shows up. Then as he's gloating to Raiden about being a good guy, Shao Kahn shows up and snaps his fucking neck. Then you get to fight as Liu Kang and fight Shao Kahn. Liu Kang puts his flaming fist directly through Shao Kahn's chest and it seems like Shao Kahn is dead. Raiden's little amulet cracks again somehow. The bad guys are all talking to each other and then Shao Kahn walks up because he didn't die. Quan-Chi suggests that they invade. Then he resurrects Sindel so Shao Kahn can invade. Kung Lao. His ancestor was killed by Goro 500 years ago. He wanted to kill Goro, but Liu Kang beat him in qualifying rounds. He disguises himself as a guard and believes he can defeat Goro. Kung Lao is cool in this game. His design is standard. He plays fun, but nothing that's gonna blow your mind.
Kung Lao had avenged his ancestor's death and saved Earthrealm from Shao Kahn's brutality. In quiet reflection with Raiden at the grave of the great Kung Lao, he touched the modest stone marker. Images of past events, moments of someone else's life flashed through his mind, concluding with a lost battle against Goro. Raiden theorized that Kung Lao had unlocked memories of his past life. The Kung Lao that stood before Raiden was in fact the reincarnation of the great Kung Lao, who had been defeated by Goro 500 years ago. He had accomplished in the present what he could not in the past.
Chapter 12, Stryker. It cuts to New York trying to fight off Tarkata and other creatures. Reptile shows up crawling up a skyscraper towards Stryker and Kabal. After beating Reptile's ass, you see Mileena from afar and approach her for a fight. After defeating her, a fucking dragon flies by and Raiden shows up. Then Kentaro pulls up on Stryker. After beating his ass, it shows how Kabal is super burnt and why he got the mask in the first place. Then Stryker gets pulled into the subway by Ermac. Nightwolf introduces himself and says Raiden wants to include Stryker to help fight the invaders. They find someone has clearly taken Kabal. It cuts to Kano basically creating Kabal like it's fucking Star Wars. Stryker. He is a fantastic SWAT member in New York. A realm portal showed up spewing creatures. He wants to, I guess, defeat the Outworld forces. Stryker looks just like a normal-ass cop in this game, nothing special at all. His moves, however, are very fun and on brand. He has a few with his baton, his grenade, and his gun. His gunshot move is kind of overpowered and could be easily spammed. He's fun in this game.
Despite telling the world that he was simply doing his job, Stryker was made a hero for saving Earth from invasion. He received both the key to the city and the Congressional Medal of Freedom. Press and paparazzi hounded his every move. His biography spent a year on the bestseller lists. Stryker action figures flew off the shelves and into every young boy's hand. But when approached by Hollywood for the rights to his story, Stryker put his foot down. Never would he allow himself to be portrayed by Johnny Cage.
Chapter 13, Kabal. Kabal tells Kano to take it off and Kano says he can't, further leading into it being like Star Wars. Kano gave him his hook swords and Kabal is pissed at Kano for helping the invaders. Kano tells Kabal that he's an Outworld and Kabal wants to leave. He takes Kano hostage so that he can leave Outworld. Shao Kahn then takes Shang Tsung's soul. Shao Kahn then takes Shang Tsung's soul. This is a fucking tongue twister. Shao Kahn then takes Shang Tsung's soul and gives it to Sindel. Then Mileena notices Kabal and so does Noob, so they both fight Kabal. Kabal runs towards the portal and goes into it. Cyber Sub-Zero is mad at him using the portal. Sheeva shows up to fight. Raiden shows up and asks for Kabal to join. Smoke is upset about what the Linkway did to Sub-Zero, so they try to help him out. They hack Cyber Sub-Zero to make him cognizant again, and he feels horrible about himself. Kabal. He was part of the Black Dragon, but left and became a cop. He was severely injured in battle and now has to wear his Darth Vader mask. Kabal is a lot of fun in this game. I've always loved his design, so nothing new there, but his moves are just so enjoyable to use. His hook swords make a return, of course, and man, I just love Kabal, honestly.
Victory over Shao Kahn came with a heavy price. Kabal's respirator was badly damaged, and if it was not repaired soon, he would surely die. Desperate, he tracked down Kano and forced from him the identity of the cyberneticist who developed Kano's eye laser. The good doctor was not easy to find, but he was more than eager to help, for a price. Now Kabal is rebuilt. He is better than he was before, stronger, faster. He will need to be in order to repay his debt.
Chapter 14, Cyber Sub-Zero. Stryker suggests they send Cyber Sub-Zero to Outworld to spy on them, and he agrees. He follows Sektor to do some kind of mission, but Sub-Zero stops him to let him know he ain't fucking with him anymore. He walks in on Kano, Kentaro, and Goro, who have some soldiers they want to take to a graveyard, so he freezes the bad guys and frees the good ones. Kentaro and Goro unfreeze and you have to fight both of them at once. The soldiers get launched back up and Ermac shows up ready to fight. Sub-Zero heads to the graveyard where he finds Noob and Quan-Chi casting a spell on some soldiers. Raiden's little future-seeing thingy cracks more, then Sub-Zero approaches and Noob decides it's time to fight. It's revealed that Noob is actually Bi-Han and Quan-Chi resurrected him. After defeating him, Quan-Chi successfully finishes the Soulnado. Also, side note, for whatever reason my X-ray didn't work at all for this chapter, but it started working again after. Weird. Cyber Sub-Zero. He has the same bio as the regular Sub-Zero. Man, what a pointless-ass character. I understand the story relevance and all, but they didn't need to make him his own completely separate character. It could have just been a skin. Anyways, he looks cool, I guess, but his moves are very similar, except now he has some robot ones. Cool, I guess. Chapter 15, Nightwolf. Nightwolf decides to step in and fights Quan-Chi. Afterwards, Noob comes to intervene and Nightwolf hits him into the Soulnado. The Soulnado dissipates and it cuts to the Earthrealmers contemplating that Raiden's future-telling thing is actually just showing a possible outcome and not the actual one. Nightwolf shows up and says Earthrealm souls are safe. However, Raiden's shit cracks anyways. Raiden says he needs to go to the Elder Gods and that Nightwolf needs to lead. The Lin Kuei then show up and surround them. Nightwolf targets Cyrax, Sektor defeats Smoke, and Nightwolf goes after Sektor. After defeating him, Sindel walks up yelling at them, and all of the Earthrealmers band together to fight her. Sindel defeats them all one by one. Sindel takes Kitana's soul, or at least tries to, and Nightwolf comes to fight. After defeating Sindel, Sonya calls out to Raiden, who is talking to the Elder Gods. The Elder Gods tell him that Shao Kahn hasn't violated the rules, therefore they can't do shit about Shao Kahn. The camera comes back and Sindel is actually overpowering Nightwolf. But then he does some shit that makes them both straight up disintegrate. Kitana straight up fucking dies while holding Liu Kang's hand. Liu Kang is mad at Raiden because they're dead. Raiden's idea is to team with Netherrealm to fight against Outworld. Liu Kang calls Raiden schizophrenic. Raiden goes to Netherrealm. Nightwolf. Nightwolf is connected to the spirit world. He is a Native American shaman and he's very, very powerful. His faith in the spirits will help people. I enjoy Nightwolf in this game as I have in previous ones. All of his moves are pretty fun. His design is also really solid. Just in general, he's a really enjoyable character to play as, and I can say that I am a fan of him.
It took all of Nightwolf's power to destroy Shao Kahn. His spirit guide, the wolf, had aided him in the battle, but in the aftermath its presence was no longer felt. Nightwolf returned to his home, seeking the Elder's help in reconnecting to the spirit world. During their ritual, his wolf returned to him, changed. Shao Kahn had tethered his soul to the wolf spirit in order to cheat death. Now corrupted with Shao Kahn's evil, Nightwolf has transformed into his animality, his bite converting his victims into subservient lycanthropes. Through Nightwolf, Shao Kahn will conquer Earthrealm, one mortal at a time.
Chapter 16, Raiden. Raiden shows up to the Netherrealm calling for Quan-Chi, but instead of Quan-Chi, Scorpion shows up. After defeating Scorpion, Quan-Chi shows up. He tries to convince Quan-Chi to help. Raiden offers the soul of the Earthrealm warriors who die. He even offers his own soul, but it doesn't matter because Quan-Chi is on Shao Kahn's side and already has the souls. You have to fight Jax, Stryker, and Kabal with 1 health bar, which was pretty easy, then Kitana, Nightwolf, and Kung Lao, which was also pretty easy. Raiden leaves and says that they need to let Shao Kahn merge the realms so that the Elder Gods will stop him. Liu Kang is about to fight Shao Kahn and Raiden says not to, and you fight Liu Kang. After defeating his dumbass, Liu Kang still tries to stop him and he straight up fucking dies. Liu Kang says Raiden has killed them all. Shao Kahn blasts Sonya and Johnny Cage back, and Raiden bows to Shao Kahn, but Shao Kahn starts slapping Raiden around, and it goes back to the intro showing Raiden's amulet breaking, and Raiden is telling Shao Kahn he has won. Then a whole bunch of yellow lightning shows up with dragons coming out of it that heal Raiden, and they are the Elder Gods. They strike Shao Kahn, but his ass just laughs. Then, you fight him. After defeating him, you do the lightning strike thing again, and he gets eaten by the dragon snakes, which send him up to the sky where he fucking explodes. The sky clears, and Raiden's amulet puts itself back together. Wouldn't it be funny if it just continued to shatter? Anyway, Sonya is very sad about all of the people who died. Shao Kahn's broken mask is sitting there and Quan-Chi picks it up, then summons Shinnok, and Shinnok is hyped because they'll be able to take over in the next game. Raiden. He's the god of thunder. A long time ago, Shao Kahn tried to merge with Outworld and he didn't like that, so the Elder Gods made the Mortal Kombat tournament. He needs to stop Armageddon, so he tried to find a champion that'll help. Raiden is enjoyable in this game as he always is. Lightning guy. He fire lightning from his hands. He has his flying charge attack still, as always. His design is also pretty samey, but he's cool.
Shao Kahn was gone, but the scars of the merging of realms remained. Remnants of the invasion force roamed freely and had to be dealt with. But Earthrealm is vast, and Raiden is but one being. He recruited 4 warriors, 1 for each direction of the wind, and divided his soul, placing 1 part in each of them. Through these new heroes, Raiden can combat the forces of darkness in 4 places at once.
Story review. The story in this game isn't going to make you rethink life and blow your head off, but it's definitely serviceable. It isn't as linear and simple as I expected it to be, which is nice. It feels like there's some real stakes and it's hard to predict what is truly going to happen next. It gives more personality to the characters than ever seen before. It's pretty solid for what it is. Sindel. She's Kitana's mother and was forced to marry Shao Kahn. She killed herself a long time ago, which stopped Shao Kahn from coming to Earthrealm, but then he resurrected her. Sindel is a lot of fun in this game. All of her attacks feel really quick and snappy. Her hair toss move is very fun to use as well, and it's pretty easy to use. Her design is also cool. Her hair just looks really awesome, and it most certainly is her defining characteristic. Good and fun character.
The spell that bewitched Queen Sindel had been broken. She did battle with Shao Kahn and slew him, punishment for the suffering he brought upon her and millions of others throughout the realms. She dissolved the sorcery that bound Edenia with Outworld and began restoring her realm to its former glory. The many races of Outworld were impressed. Not only had Sindel defeated Shao Kahn, but she had shown great leadership in chaotic times. They willingly offered her their allegiance. Under Sindel's governance, the realms of Edenia and Outworld remain merged in spirit.
Ermac. The people that were killed when Shao Kahn took Edenia had all of their souls combined into Ermac, who all follow Shao Kahn. I've never been known as an Ermac enjoyer, but in this game, he's actually really fun. His moves are all using the Force, of course, and it's really fun. I actually like him a lot in this game, and his design is badass too.
With Shao Kahn dead, Ermac was no longer bound to him. Anarchy erupted within Ermac as the many warrior souls that comprised his being struggled for dominance. Only one had the strength of will to quiet the chaos. The conflict resolved, Ermac returned to Outworld, determined to reunite with his past. Queen Sindel and Princess Kitana were shocked to learn the truth, that trapped among the many spirits within Ermac was their husband and father, King Jade. Though he would never be the Jade they once knew, Ermac would forever serve and protect his queen and the Edenian people.
Reptile. He's the only known survivor of his race. He works for Shao Kahn, and he projects his feelings of misery knowing his kind is gone onto innocent people, becoming a ruthless killer. Reptile's pretty solid in this game. He maintains pretty much all of his moves from previous games, at least from my memory. He isn't spectacular, but he's still enjoyable. His design isn't a straight up lizard dragon creature anymore. His ass got humanized, but it's fine, it's still cool though.
Having defeated Shao Kahn, Reptile was feared by all. He forced Shang Tsung to regenerate his raptor race. The process took agonizing months, but soon Reptile heard the snarls of young broodlings throughout the flesh pits. Eventually, Shang Tsung had created an army of raptor warriors bred to serve Reptile. They stormed the realm, killing any Tarkatan, Shokan, or Centaur who opposed Reptile's rule. The intoxicating feeling of reuniting with his people blinded Reptile to the suffering of his former comrades. Reptile was home once more.
Mileena. Shang Tsung created Mileena, and she is a fuse of human and Tarkata. Because of this, she isn't very stable at all and will have lots of fits of madness and savagery. She also is more child than adult, you sick fucks. Mileena is great in this game. Her design is questionable, but her actual moves are really fast and snappy and satisfying. My only gripe is that she doesn't have a whole lot of special moves, but at least the ones that she does have are cool.
Mileena killed the Emperor in a fit of deranged fury, but she was unaware that her victory resulted from Shang Tsung's designs. He had imbued Mileena with the ability to drain Shao Kahn's dark magic, rendering him vulnerable. Now Shang Tsung was ready to execute the next phase of his plan, murder Mileena and take Shao Kahn's power for himself. But Mileena instinctively wielded her new dark power against the sorcerer. Shang Tsung's end came quickly. Mileena absorbed his soul, multiplying her strength. She then set out to claim an even bigger prize, the soul of a thunder god.
Noob. No one knows where he's from, but it's likely Quan-Chi resurrected him. He is fighting for Shao Kahn, but he's biding time because apparently he has his own objective. Noob is cool as fuck. His shadow moves are just so fucking cool to use, and they look awesome and feel awesome. His actual design is whatever, but his moves really set him apart.
Quan-Chi should never have resurrected Noob Saibot, nor should he have enhanced his power to defeat Shao Kahn. The Revenant he created had broken free of his control. Noob had secretly formed an understanding with a cleric from the realm of chaos, and opened for him a portal to the Netherrealm. Shinnok, Quan-Chi, and the Brotherhood of Shadow were unprepared as the forces of chaos overwhelmed them, leaving the underworld severely weakened. Satisfied with his work, the cleric, Havoc, returned to the realm of chaos. Noob Saibot remained to seize control of the Netherrealm.
Sektor. He's the son of the Grand Master of the Lin Kuei. He's told to fight for Shang Tsung and go against Earthrealm, but he actually just wants to overtake his father. Sektor is alright, I guess. He has a pretty small amount of moves, and they're all alright. He feels chunky and hard-hitting, which is cool, but I don't know, there's just not much to write home about.
Sektor had dedicated his life to the Lin Kuei. His victories had brought honor to his father, the Grand Master. He had proven himself worthy. It was time to replace his father. In a bold attack, Sektor smashed through a company of Lin Kuei guards as he pushed toward the Grand Master's chamber. There he found his father waiting. The Grand Master warned him that wearing the Dragon Medallion brought much power, but at a cost. Sektor ignored the warning and slew his father, whose soul burst from his body and flew into the medallion. Sektor had finally seized control of the Lin Kuei.
Kano. He's a member of the Black Dragon who almost died and he got part of his face fucked up. He found someone who'd fix up his fucked up face, and now he's real dangerous. Kano has 3 ball moves, a choke, and a projectile. That is pretty lame, if I'm being honest. He looks like Kano again with nothing special about his design, and definitely nothing special about his moves.
Kano made a fortune selling arms to Shao Kahn, and used the profits to upgrade his cybernetics. The added connectivity of his eye implant gave him unparalleled access to global communications. Using his mind, he navigated the databases of banks, law enforcement agencies, and other networks. But his activities left him vulnerable to hackers. Jax infiltrated Kano's mind and trapped his consciousness in the Special Forces mainframe. It wasn't long, however, until Kano managed to free himself. His consciousness spread like a virus throughout the Special Forces network of automated weaponry. Kano has become a one-man army.
Shang Tsung. He is originally from Earthrealm, but discovered Outworld because of his abilities and now fights for Shao Kahn. Shang Tsung feels lame as hell in this game. His design is mid, he has barely any original moves, and his morph just takes the enemy you're fighting against and you get to play as them. Really not much happens when you're playing as Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung voraciously consumed Shao Kahn's soul, absorbing his immense power. Overwhelmed by his newfound sorcery, he fled to Outworld. Moments before suicide, Shang Tsung was visited by Boraicho. The mentor of warriors offered to teach him to control the dark magic, but for a special purpose. Liu Kang had become a god. The power had corrupted him, transforming him into a tyrant. He needed to be stopped. After rigorous training, Shang Tsung mastered the one technique that could finish Liu Kang. Vengeance would finally be his.
Baraka. Daddy is the sexiest living being. He is incredibly strong and loyal and fuck. He works for Shao Kahn. If you've seen my previous videos, you'll already know how I feel about my boy Baraka. His design is the same it's always been, but that's fine, because why would you mess with perfection? His perfect teeth just glimmer with love. I just wish he'd penetrate me with those long blades.
Shokan and Centaur alike were enraged that Baraka, Shao Kahn's trusted enforcer, had turned on their master and killed him just as Earthrealm was within their grasp. But their anger turned to admiration as the lifeless body of Shao Kahn transformed into that of the treacherous sorcerer Shang Tsung. Shang had attempted to claim the realm for himself by posing as Shao Kahn. The deception had not fooled Baraka. He had recognized Shang Tsung's scent and torn out his throat. With Earthrealm finally in Shao Kahn's control, Baraka's loyalty and bold action were rewarded. The Tarkatans replaced the Centaur as the Emperor's favored race.
Sheeva. Sheeva is a Shokan. She saved Sindel at one point and became her bodyguard until Sindel died. Now she is the master jailer at Shao Kahn's dungeon. Her design is the same and it's fine. It honestly feels straight up unfair to play as Sheeva. She feels so insanely powerful in this game. She's huge. Her stomp move is just crazy. She's a lot of fun to play, but she feels really overpowered.
Sheeva had recognized the signs. Her people were out of favor and in decline. The Centaur would soon dominate Shao Kahn's forces, while the Shokan would move inexorably toward extinction. Sheeva's act of defiance, her murder of Shao Kahn, made possible a new home for her people among the mortals of Earthrealm, a world free of both Tarkatan and Centaur. With cooperation from world leaders, Sheeva secured for the Shokan the continent of Australia. In return, they would protect Earthrealm from future invasions. For her leadership, Sheeva was exalted, the most honorable Shokan in their proud history.
Quan-Chi. This bald-headed fuck lives in the Netherrealm and resurrects warriors to fight for him. Scorpion is his personal assassin. Quan-Chi has some pretty solid moves in this game. His design is the same bald-headed demon we all have known, but of course, since this game has updated graphics, he actually looks less like a goober and more like a force to be reckoned with. Cool character.
Having finally brought about Shao Kahn's demise, Quan-Chi was then tasked with growing the ranks of the Brotherhood of Shadow. Many warriors had perished in Outworld's invasion of Earthrealm. Quan-Chi stole their souls and remade them to serve his master, the fallen Elder God. The task completed, Shinnok repaid Quan-Chi's service by ordering his execution, thereby eliminating a possible challenger to his rule. Quan-Chi had anticipated this act of treachery, however, and resurrected Shao Kahn, the ultimate phantom warrior. With Shao Kahn as his enforcer, Quan-Chi struck down the Brotherhood of Shadow and Shinnok. Quan-Chi forgives betrayal from no one, not even a god.
And now with that, let's move on to the DLC characters, starting with Skarlet. Skarlet. Shao Kahn made Skarlet with warrior blood. Her mission is from Shao Kahn to keep a close eye on Quan-Chi to see what he's really trying to do. Skarlet's design is similar to Jade, Mileena, and Kitana, but instead, she's red. Playing as her kind of reminds me of Natara, because all of Skarlet's moves are blood-based in one way or another. She plays pretty decently, solid character.
Controlled by Quan-Chi's sorcery, Skarlet attacked and destroyed Shao Kahn. As Quan-Chi's magic subsided, she realized her unwitting role in his plot to bring ruin to Outworld. With Shao Kahn's blood splattered across her body, Skarlet absorbed his immense strength. She used this newfound power against Quan-Chi. Brotherhood of Shadow Warriors raced to defend the sorcerer, but their blood only served to make Skarlet invincible. In a battle between sorcery and gore-fueled fighting power, she avenged her fallen master. Having served her purpose, Skarlet disappeared into the shadows, awaiting Shao Kahn's rebirth.
Kenshi. He was traveling the world looking for people to fight, then a guy gave him an ancient sword and blinded him. That guy was Shang Tsung. The sword saved him, and now he wants to kill Shang Tsung. I've always liked Kenshi a lot. I'm actually surprised he was DLC instead of on the main roster. He plays really fun and has nice snappy combos and moves. A small oversight is that he's actually facing his opponent rather than facing away like he did in previous games, which sucks because I did kinda like that little detail.
Guided by Sento, his ancestral sword, Kenshi destroyed Shao Kahn and saved Earthrealm from Armageddon. But he had not yet exacted revenge on Shang Tsung. The elusive sorcerer had hidden himself somewhere in Outworld. Jax allowed Kenshi access to a newly developed portal that permitted travel among realms. In return, Kenshi agreed to serve the fledgling Outer World Investigation Agency. After countless missions, he finally located Shang Tsung. With a roar, Kenshi plunged Sento through Shang Tsung's chest. The magical sword drew the souls of Kenshi's ancestors into itself, leaving Shang Tsung a withered husk. His vendetta fulfilled, Kenshi left Shang Tsung to die, alone and powerless.
Rain. He's a refugee that was orphaned by Shao Kahn. He turned against the Edenians because they didn't give him leadership of the resistance. Shao Kahn says he will give him an army. Rain's design is pretty badass. He plays great in this game. He feels super enjoyable and snappy and powerful. What's always kind of bugged me though is that it makes it seem like all the people in the MK universe are just straight up allergic to water or something. Like his regular water spray move looks like he's shooting a little squirt gun at his enemy, but they scream like they're getting sprayed with acid. Just a thought.
Shao Kahn had used Rain to crush the Edenian resistance, but had not granted him an army. For this betrayal, Rain drowned the Emperor in his own blood. A grateful Raiden thanked Rain for eliminating the Emperor and saving Earthrealm. His heroics were befitting of a son of Argus. Rain's lost heritage was a revelation to him. That he was a direct descendant of an Edenian god proved his superiority. Power was his by right. His divinity confirmed, Rain's path was clear. He would use Shao Kahn's army to rule not just Outworld, but all the realms. To Raiden's surprise and horror, Rain's first target is Earthrealm.
Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger is a spirit of the Dream Realm. Shao Kahn was taking Freddy's souls for his own, so he battled Shao Kahn in the Dream Realm. Shao Kahn brought him to the real world and almost killed him, so that's why Freddy has those gloves. Horror icon Freddy Krueger is in this game. His design is Freddy Krueger, so I can't really critique it. He plays fantastically in this game, and I really like his addition. He fits in here like he's really at home in Mortal Kombat.
Freddy Krueger's bladed hands tore through Shao Kahn. The demonically enhanced weapons had been more than a match for the Emperor's dark magic. Though Freddy had saved Earthrealm, Nightwolf recognized him as an evil spirit, and in a shamanistic ritual, sent him back to the Dream Realm. But that decision proved ruinous. Freddy did not resist. He welcomed a return to immortality. From the Dream Realm, he will again create a nightmare in Earthrealm.
Kratos. Kratos is from ancient Greece. He was the god of war, but now he is immortal. He retired, but then he was ripped through space and time and was brought before Shao Kahn, who summoned him because Kratos is the most powerful warrior of all time. Kratos got his free will back and now wants to kill Shao Kahn. I switched over to the PS3 version of the game, which looks worse than the regular PC one, but that's fine. His moves are fucking awesome. He's super powerful. He's really fun to play as. Great addition to the game, and I wish he was in the PC version and not just the PS3 and Vita. One of his moves has a fucking QuickTime event, which is awesome to see and is just so on brand. Anyways, God of War 2 video soon.
Shao Kahn was dead. The god of war had prevailed. The spell that had summoned him began to reverse itself. As he slowly faded from this place and time, Kratos was approached by Raiden and Fujin. Though he did not count them among his enemies, Kratos had never been beloved by these gods. He prepared for combat. To his surprise, they bowed to him, a show of respect he had not seen from an immortal in many an age. Raiden explained that though his motives were not pure, Kratos had saved Earthrealm. He was owed a debt of gratitude. As he returned to his own world, Kratos nodded silently. Their change of heart would perhaps prove useful one day. A debt of gratitude is often dearly paid.
Before the end of the video, I want to talk about the various aspects of the game and what I think about them, starting with the maps. The maps in this game are simply great. You have a classic like the Pit, you have a whole bunch of new maps and cities, and in Shao Kahn's lair, and it's just a really solid map selection in general. Plus, there's stage fatalities, which I can't show because if I do, this video will get sniped, but overall, the maps in this game are really nice to look at. Fighting. The feeling of the fighting in this game is just so amazing. From the video, you'll see that I said snappy, satisfying, and fun a lot. There aren't really any characters I straight up dislike, and that's because the way the fighting feels in this game is just so amazing and crisp. I love the X-ray feature, and it's a cool thing to look at in a fight and gives a moment to breathe. The fighting in this game is so insanely fast-paced, you have to bring your full brain power when you play it because you'll get destroyed. Fantastic fighting. Fatalities. Well, I can't show any of them because this video will be sniped. The fatalities in this game are the best in the series up to this point. Look them up if you want. They are so gory and so thought out, it's just insane. Krypt. The Krypt in this game is also a high in the series at this point. It keeps it simple, just unlocking certain things with your currency, but you can kind of freely move, and there's a jump scare. The Krypt scared the hell out of me as a kid. It's really scary and brooding. To unlock things, you destroy tombstones, make hanging bodies give birth, get bodies in a blood pool, and kill people with various medieval torture methods. Fantastic Krypt. Challenge Tower. Initially, I'd planned on completing the challenge tower for this video, but to be honest, this video's taken long enough, and I didn't want to delay it anymore to show something whenever I already kinda had my opinion on it. My opinion is that the challenge tower is a great addition, and it adds a lot of variety to the game. From test your sight, might, and strike, to standing there and shooting projectiles at enemies, to test your luck, which includes gambling, and I love gambling, it's just a fantastic addition. It gives you a chance to try out all the characters and have actual challenging experiences. The Vita version has an entire bonus tower as well, which is awesome. Multiplayer. I can't speak too much on the multiplayer component because on PC it's basically unplayable. There's not much you could do without lagging like crazy, but I'm not going to dock it because I'm sure it was at least a little bit better at launch. Well, that's really all I wanted to talk about for this game. Mortal Kombat 9 is honestly better than Mortal Kombat 1. It feels better, has a great story, and most importantly, it feels like a content-complete game, where Mortal Kombat 1 just doesn't. Plus, this game doesn't have egregious microtransactions. I'm going to give this game a 10 out of 10. Seriously, I have some gripes with it, but honestly, overall, it's just an amazing game, and I'd highly recommend you try it out. Warner, please bring it to modern platforms. Just ditch MK1 at this point and do MK9 remastered and include Kratos on there and put it on PS5. It's what we need. Anyways, thank you so much for watching to the end. The Discord's in the description as well as my second channel. If you enjoyed, consider subscribing. Leave a comment, maybe telling me what I should play next. And yeah, thank you, and have a great day.
Say that you got the Benjis, but it's all Washingtons. Say you got all the honeys, but I've never seen one of them. Why you act like we are so dumb? This BS, I can't take it, I just need you to shut the fuck up. You're done.